I think it was Millie's report a few days ago. Somebody said, "Oh, we'll get back to that, but we're on the race thing right now." When she asked about Russia, she said, "Oh, yeah, Russia's a big deal, but we're on the race thing right now, calling him a racist. We'll get back to that." And I think it's exactly the same thing. We're on the divisive thing right now. We'll get back to the immigration eventually.
The War Room. Infowars.com/show.
I'm now joined by Jake Lloyd, one of our newest cameramen, reporters, crewmen here at InfoWars. He went out on the streets today, and the main topic has kind of been what our people's support right now for Trump with the media hysteria, the Trump turbulence. So you went out and you asked some people today.
Yeah, so with Trump's base being so inflamed over the issues, his new statements on DOC and everything, I wanted to go out there and just discuss with normal, everyday Trump supporters and, Democrats too, just on how they feel about his new comments. A lot of people on the Republican side think that he's flip-flopping. They think that he's abandoning his campaign promises, but a lot of people think that he's just negotiating. A big thing about Trump is that he doesn't telegraph the moves that he's going to make. If he's going to throw a left hook, you don't want to telegraph that to the other fighter, and that's a big thing about him. He's saying maybe he's just sending a message to the Republicans: if you don't want to work with me, I'll find somebody to work with. So we wanted to discuss with people and see if they thought he was flip-flopping, if they thought that he was negotiating, or if he was just trying to unify people. And we're going to see if we have the clip here in a few minutes.
Yeah, you literally just got back. You just shot this report today on the streets. Guys, do we have that ready? No? Okay, so I'm not sure if we're going to have that ready by the end of the show, but you can find the clip on the Real Alex Jones YouTube channel. Again, Jake hit the streets just to figure out what Trump supporters are thinking. We put out the poll, are you still on the Trump train? And most of our listeners are still on the Trump train. We've got about 8,000 votes there. So let's just get into some other news while we got you here, Jake. Okay. I'm going to run through some headlines, and then I want to hear what you think about the final headline mainly. First, this was kind of a feel-good story. Trump describes Frank as the future of the country. A young man was, oh my gosh, did he say young ma'am or man? What did he say? A young man was mowing the White House lawn, an 11-year-old from Virginia. Apparently a young entrepreneur, lawn mowing industry. A lot of kids, they go out and mow lawns. It's an entrepreneurial thing. It's part of the American dream. So Trump comes out, gives him a handshake, says you're doing a great job, and says he's the future of America. That's the human element of Trump that you just don't really see with many politicians. Hey, this is another story that you see every week, it appears. Stocks hit record highs after tech rises set for strong weekly gains. So another NASDAQ record. But here's the one I want to hear your opinion on, Jake. U.S. Army kills contracts for hundreds of immigrant recruits. The U.S. Army recruiters have abruptly canceled enlistment contracts for hundreds of foreign-born military recruits last week, upending their lives and potentially exposing many to deportation, according to several affected recruits and former Army officers familiar with the situation. Now, you're a veteran. I don't know if you've heard about this. Of course, nobody's covering this, shockingly. Oh, why? Because this is Trump actually fulfilling his promise. It doesn't go along with the narrative. Trump's giving it to Democrats. Trump's enacting DACA. No, U.S. Army kills contracts for hundreds of immigrant recruits. I don't know if this was something that Trump had anything to do with, but it does go along with the American First promises, I think. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the Army, it really is treated like a big jobs program. That's honestly what the Army is. That's why you get free college, you get all this stuff. And I don't normally support jobs programs, but being that you are working and you are doing something for the country, that I can kind of get behind a little bit. I'm not sure. I haven't actually read this particular story. I know that a lot of people, a large number of immigrants come into the country and they gain citizenship through military service, and that is something that I do support. If you're going to come here legally. Now, if they came in here illegally and then they tried to join to get citizenship that way, that's not something that I would necessarily support, because I don't think that you can come in, break the law, and then do an end around to get around the system. So I would need to read the story, but those are just kind of my thoughts at face value for that one.
Well, essentially, my understanding is that, and of course, the Pentagon and Army recruitment will not comment on this. However, multiple retired Army officers and beneficiaries of what would have been these enlistment contracts are making a big fuss. But it's weird to me because you would think, and apparently the Washington Post has also ran with this story, you would think that the mainstream liberal media would want to be really hitting Trump with this oh, look, Trump hates these people. Trump hates immigrants. Trump doesn't want people to serve. But I feel like it doesn't serve the narrative right now because they're trying to tell the Trump base that he's caving to immigrants or illegal immigrants. He's caving to not America first. And this story would kind of perhaps not really go along with that narrative today, so they're just not touching it.
Yeah, well, that's a big deal. They don't actually care about Mexican people. They don't care about immigrants or any of the other minority groups that they claim to fight for. So it does, like you said, it doesn't serve their interest to talk about this right now, because right now they're pushing the divisiveness. It's just, I don't remember which report it was, but I think it was Millie's report a few days ago. You know, somebody said, oh, we'll get back to that, but we're on the race thing right now. You know, when she asked about Russia. She said, oh, yeah, Russia's a big deal, but we're on the race thing right now, calling him a racist. We'll get back to that. And I think it's exactly the same thing. You know, we're on the divisive thing right now. We'll get back to the immigration eventually.
Yeah, well, it's amazing to me. Hey, let's get Steven on the line here. He's been waiting for over an hour, guys. Let's fire up Steven. Steven, you got 60 seconds. Thanks for holding. Go ahead, Steven. What's your comment?
Yeah, this is one of my hot button issues on this whole immigration thing and what's going on with Trump. I wanted to address this to that young woman you were interviewing that went through DACA. You know, you can sound real sweet, but your arrogance that bleeds through just is appalling to me. The fact that you'd be offended that Owen would actually suggest that your parents should be penalized for being here illegally. By the way, the actual statistic I've heard, and this has been actually from Alex, is 31 million. Okay, but the bottom line is this. I'm so American, so America first. I don't even like people being here legally that refuse to learn our language, which is
Well,
English.
I just want to say I did not feel that Sophie came off that way. And also, I would say it's probably closer to 20 million illegals here. But that's a number we'll never know, unfortunately. Thank you for the call, Stephen. We'll be right back.
If you want the future, you must fight for it. This is The War Room with Owen Schroyer at Infowars.com/show.
Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. If you're interested in healthy thyroid, if you're interested in well-being, if you're interested in having a higher IQ, which this has been linked to, get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com.